Hey everyone and welcome back. It's Gina. I am back with another finished jewelry update where I share with you some pieces that I've made from the materials I've gotten in this month, particularly from some of the bead boxes that I've shared and enjoy unboxing with you all, and sometimes some things from my stash. I'll show you some of these items, maybe talk a little bit about my inspiration and a little bit more about the materials and whether or not I have a tutorial or am planning one and those types of things. So hopefully this video inspires you to get into your own beading, maybe pull out some things from your own stash. Maybe it gives you a spark of some random idea. You never know when that can hit when you see somebody's finished pieces or artwork. I personally love that. So that is my goal today for you guys. And I thought we'd first start out with the pieces that I made from the Opulence Echo collection by Eureka Crystal Beads. That collection I will link to down below. And it came with these gorgeous purple twisted bugle beads. I absolutely love them, and I came up with a couple of different things using those beads. Let me show you up close this pendant. This one is called Mirage Bloom, and it features a 27mm super sparkly rainbow of colors in there, crystal, that I just was dying to get into once I opened up those materials. And I just had a lot of fun. I started doing a bezel with the bugle beads and just kept adding and adding, and I loved the layered, spiky, just really artistic looking piece that came out of this. So I do have a tutorial for this pendant if you want to check it out, and I have a couple other colors that I played around with. The lime green and aqua, these actually came from Eureka as well, some of the beads at least. The twisted bugles they have in their shop in the lime green and the purple, of course, and then a few other colors, but also that gorgeous 27mm crystal in this aqua color that does also pick up some of that lime green. And then I pulled some fire polish beads from my stash so I coordinate along with that. So there's a look at the back of this one. I love how it came out, and you can add this to a beaded rope chain, or as you can see here, I have a black organza and cord necklace. This is one from my stash I've had for a long time from BB Craft, I think. And then here's just another example. I was able to find another 27mm in this different aqua color, and I had some of these I had these bugles in my stash, those twisted bugles in the aqua as well, and paired those with some darker seed beads and fire polish. So to give you some examples of this done in some other colors, because that's always fun, be sure to check out the tutorial that I have for this pendant though. And you know, maybe if you are newer to bead weaving, as I like to suggest, you know, maybe watch the tutorial first before even attempting. And that's really a good idea for a lot of different projects. Just watch it from start to finish, see the process, and then go in and give these steps a try. So that is the first item I wanted to share with you all. It's definitely the largest statement piece that I have. So I'm starting with a bang there. The next item I have, and I think I'm going to put it on the display, but this is the Crystal Mirage pendant. This is the other bugle bead and crystal pendant, a little bit smaller, that I shared from the Opulence Echo collection as well. And it wasn't until later on this month, actually the past few days, I started working on this beaded St. Petersburg chain. And no, I don't have a tutorial for the chain yet, but maybe I can come up with one. It's kind of a basic beading stitch, but looks so cool, I think, with this pendant. And it's another great way to use bugle beads because they really hang out there as a unique fringe. It's got lots of movement and flexibility and shows off those twists in a really fun way too. So let me put this one on the display so you can see how that chain kind of fans out and that fringe hangs just like that. It's really neat. And that one's made with the 13 by 18 millimeter crystal teardrop down there in the pendant. Also used a variety of different seed beads in this one. And I do have a tutorial for it. Again, that's the Crystal Mirage pendant if you look back a little bit in my channel. And I will try to leave some links to these various tutorials and boxes in certain materials that I share here today too. And so with this one, I just went ahead and sewed it directly onto the bottom of the St. Petersburg chain. I brought two sides or two pieces of that together to form the V shape, sewed them together, and then added that pendant down at the bottom. So that's how that all came together. All right, so next I have some fun beaded ropes using the mini duos and size 11-0 seed beads from the Opulence Echo collection in this purple colorway. And this is very similar to Jill Wiseman's Daydreamer rope necklace using the super duos, the larger size to hold beads. And this one is just kind of a variation of that, and also using two different colors of seed beads alternated. You can see those purple ones there and then the hematite color. And just to show you, this also works really well with the mini duos. And you can use this as something to hang a pendant from, or it looks lovely on its own, just like that, not even needing to do anything else. And something I did also do was made it a little bit smaller in the back because I inevitably ran out of the little mini duo beads and wanted to make the rope a little bit longer. So that's just to show you I was able to follow pretty much the same process in a right angle weave sort of a pattern and just make that a little bit smaller back there. I had enough of the other 11-0 seed beads to alternate the back. And then I finished up this rope with these cord ends. They happen to fit just right on the beaded rope after I had woven in the ends and made some knots. And I used a little bit of jewelry glue to glue those into place. Let them sit for about 24 hours to make sure that that glue was dry, and then came back and added in a lobster clasp and a couple of jump rings to finish that off. So did the exact same thing with this gold and black. I was just playing around with another color combination because this rope is just so classic, and I figured that I could wear this all the time. So again, just used the tubes worth of mini duos that I had. I think they come in like 8 to 9 gram tubes typically. So it gets you almost a full necklace, but to get to, you know, I think this came to about 16 or 17 inches with the additions I added. I just continued on with those 11-0 seed beads and graduated that to a smaller size, and it worked out really well. So the last thing I made with Opulence Echo are a couple of earrings that came together more on a whim. So I don't have a tutorial for these, but maybe something in the future, and maybe they'll be something I can come back with in a totally different colorway with other materials from another collection, who knows. But these are using the nibbit beads and also those very rich looking 10 millimeter crystal rivolis There's also some 3mm round druck beads and some seed beads, even some of those little demi rounds in the center. There's a look at the back of that. And I had started out by wanting to maybe try out one of my older patterns, the Nibbit, oh, the name's escaping me now, of course. Anyway, the Nibbit bead earrings that I had made a long time ago that I will probably try to link in the corner, and the name will come to me as soon as I stop filming. But I didn't have quite what I needed because those used the quadra tiles or other 4-hole round beads that are in like a little disc shape. And of course, those didn't come in the collection, but that's where I got started with the inspiration, at least, and I was able to come up with this really cool design. I happen to like, they are very sturdy too. I like how they feel from the front and the back side. All those Nibbit beads sitting in place nicely, and I really, really like the combination of that deep velvety purple, the blue, and also how those Irish druck beads kind of pull those colors all together. All right, next I'm going to show you a set from the Bargain Bead Box for October, and that one I do have a little video on. That is from that Midnight Menagerie theme, and I'll put it up here first. Made a 2-strand necklace using some of the black onyx and some of the golden Sheen Obsidian beads and some of the antique silver metallic components and bindings. It's a little pair of earrings to go along with those. But I do have a video, the Creative Time, from a couple weeks ago. If you'd like to see how this is made, it's just a 2-strand strung necklace. But one of the cool things about it was the idea that I put in place on the back, and that's where I actually used the toggle bar components from the clasp that came in the collection. And I was able to use those to separate out the 2 strands of the necklace rather than using a specific connector that had the loops already in place. These just worked really well because I was able to add the wire guards in, and they each stay, I guess, in their own lane. They stay in their own spot on these toggle bars on either side. So it just happened to work out wonderfully. And just finished that up with a lobster clasp and basic extender. But I like how these came together. It's a really wearable necklace. I also enjoyed the fact that these have the little glow-in-the-dark spots in the front using those 2 lampwork beads. So if you wear that in a darker environment or at night, those 2 will subtly glow as well. So that's a lot of fun. Then these just being a really simple pair of earrings that I put together to match the necklace. And I also should mention too here that you can find this set on my site right now at orchidandopal.com. I actually have 2 sets available because I did make an additional for that video. So if you're interested in this set, be sure to check that out on my website, as well as some of the other things that I've made and have previously listed. And because I recently changed my website platform, I don't have as much listed there right now, but you can, of course, find a lot of pieces, and I'm adding to that gradually. And you can find the full collection of my downloadable, printable, beaded jewelry patterns there. So, gotta give that a little plug. All right, so that's what I made from the Bargain Bead Box this month. And then I recently started up the Beads of the Month Club again, the rotating one. The first set of beads that I got in were really nice set of leopard skin jasper gemstones. So what they sent me in the rotation were the gemstone variety, And we received some gorgeous rectangular beads, all sorts of little nugget shapes. There were 5 different varieties of the leopard skin jasper that all coordinated together, but were all different sizes. And again, check out that video if you'd like to see the unboxing. But I was inspired to do a little bit of bead weaving around one of those larger rectangles and make that into a focal. And they provided a number of those rectangular beads in the subscription. But you can see I was able to just pull one of those and come up with a really interesting design here, framed out that single bead. And what I like about the leopard skin jasper and a lot of the jaspers is that they kind of look like their own modern art piece because of everything they have going on, and they're all so unique. So it really shows off the different variations and things going on in each of those stones. I also really liked how the jet black Picasso seed beads look with that color combination. It really pulls out some of the gray and some of the lighter neutrals along with the black, and combine that with some of the copper findings, which came in their findings companion pack this month too. So you can see a couple other sizes also of that leopard skin jasper that they had included that I worked into the chain of the necklace, graduating up to some of those tube-shaped beads, which are just so beautiful. I love how it shows off the swirls and spots in that jasper. So that is the necklace. I don't have a tutorial for that. It's just something that I happened to work on and was able to put together from the contents. And then to go along with the necklace, I did make a matching pair of earrings, and I have listed this set in my shop for sale. And I love being able to come up with earrings to go along with a necklace so that there's an actual set, because I think they make really nice gifts that way too when you have a couple of coordinating pieces. So let's see. Next, I want to show you something I made from the Bead Box bargains finds that I recently shared. You may remember, it wasn't that long ago, if you watched that video, I shared how I got a bunch of the lash and agate strands, these nuggets in particular, in some different sizes, and also some of the little micro-faceted round beads in the little cubes that are so unique. Well, I came up with a fringe element and decided to also bring in 4 of the larger nuggets and just make this its own statement piece. It could be added to a chain, as you see here, or something else. It could be worn really long, but basically the time and effort was put into making this fringe. And then I used some larger seed beads that I also kind of pulled in down here in the fringe too a little bit to create a bead woven bead cap to go around the top of that. So there's the combination. I just really like all of the different colors in that lash and agate. And I love how the fringe is able to make that a statement, you know, bring in all those different colors and really show off those cubes, and even how they have the tiny little facets on them. It helps them sparkle a little bit as they're able to hang and move and all come together in a bunch like that. So that was a really fun piece. And then to wrap up this month's creations, for what I can show you at least, because I do have things that I worked on that I can't show you yet, because I do have some things coming next month. that I am excited about, but you'll just have to wait and see. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But to get started with, I guess, a little sneak peek, sort of, for those pieces, I'll let you know I'll be doing another designer's picks little event with Eureka crystal beads. It's been a long time since I've done that, and I'll tell you more about that in the video to come. It's going to be the last week of November, so like Thanksgiving week. I'm going to have 3 new tutorials coming, and they're not going to be these exact 3 pieces. So I'm going to tell you that right now. These were actually pieces that I started to come up with when I was practicing with those materials. I really think you're going to like those 3 pieces as well when you see them, so they'll just have to be a surprise. There are some similarities, especially with this pendant. So if you like this pendant in particular, you'll see one done in another colorway that I'm doing specifically for the designer's picks later on next month. But this is a piece I was inspired to create based on the actual shapes and some of the types of contents that are coming in that. And I love how this pendant came together with the Preciosa glass cabochon, the ginkgo beads, the different sizes of seed beads, and some mini gem duos. There's a look at the back. So I hope you're excited about some surprises to come next month. And I'm also excited to let you know I'll be sharing the Beading School Academy subscription again starting next month too. So I'm gradually adding some of the things that I used to share back in, little by little. All right, so here is another bracelet, playing around with some of the similar bead shapes that I'll be sharing with you next month. And this is one of those designs that ended up coming out to be something different than I'll actually be sharing, but I'm still going to hang on to these pieces specifically and the instructions that I've written down and pictures, so I remember how I was able to come up with them and the instructions for those of how they come together to share hopefully in the future, but we'll just have to see. That's just part of the process when I'm creating things. Sometimes I'll start going in one direction and then they'll come out and become something different. That doesn't mean I want to abandon the original inspiration altogether. It just means sometimes that might work into something else later. Doesn't always happen that way, but that's at least the intention. So these components in particular, they're a little bit larger in size than what I'm going to show you for what's to come next month. And so with these, I love how they were able to kind of stand up on their own and be separated out with those metallic links and oval jump rings. So these are more just pieces I wanted to share with you, things that I worked on. I don't have specific tutorials for them at this time, but they're just part of my creative process, and I really like how they came together. And like I said at the beginning of the video, maybe there's things here that you see. It could even be a color combination. It could be how I put something together. It could inspire you to pull out the beads from your own stash and have fun playing around. So that's everything that I have to show you for this finished jewelry update. It is so wonderful to be able to come back and do a second one in a row, second month in a row. I feel really good about that. I'm feeling good. I hope you guys are doing well, and I appreciate you all sticking around, and especially when you leave comments and let me know what you're up to, and let us all know, because it's good for everybody to be able to come and read the comments and get ideas down there too. I really want this to just be a fun, creative space where we can share the love of beads and beading and some interesting and unique ideas. So let's keep that going. And we have another month coming up starting tomorrow, so we'll see what that brings. And I hope you'll stick around with me because I do have more to come and more to share with you very soon. So thanks again for being here. Feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know if there's any pieces here in particular that you really like, or if they gave you a certain idea for your own beads or anything else you'd like to say. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.